2 days ago I turned 39, and like almost all birthdays in my adulthood, it was a day of really deep contemplation. And I thought, why not share with you some of the major guiding principles that I figured out throughout almost 40 years of my life. Hey my friends, if you're new here, I'm Anna, and this is my channel about everything that is mindful, minimalist, and creative. Today I want to chat about really important ideas that help me stay grounded, focused, and resilient despite anything. I'm not a guru, I'm just an ordinary human who is trying not to get drowned in the thick waters of existence. So if you are in the mood for contemplation and self-reflection, follow me. Counting on yourself doesn't mean that you should be a rock or an island. It's just about not expecting any help from other people, but welcoming it and being grateful for it when you're offered this help. Here in Russia, I've come across many cases of a stereotype that a man should always provide for a woman, that being born a woman automatically gives you the right to be supported by men to have a super easy living. But I think that this mindset is not quite good for women. In a country where physical attractiveness and youth are the main assets of a woman, those who don't have these assets and therefore they don't get the expected provision from men for using those assets, undergo a severe psychological stress and social pressure and even self-destruction. I have an ex-family member who even now just strongly believes that the world owes them everything. And over the years, they've lost the ability to be grateful for anything and to be free. But to make it clear, I've been there. I've been to that mindset in my my 20s and in my early 30s. I've been through those relationships, and it was a tough time, and I've learned my lessons. I know that nobody owes me anything, and I'm trying to support that mental sustainability inside and to be grateful for any help that can come from the outside, but never expecting anybody to help me. And sometimes when I'm in really tough situations, when I know that I don't have any resources, be them psychological or physical, I'm not afraid to ask for help, and I think it's very honest, transparent, and liberating after all. We all have our bad moments and sad moments and even grieving moments, but we should welcome all the emotions and all the feelings that we experience because they all matter. Although there is a sense in being mindful of the borderline, crossing which that balance, that very important balance, can be destroyed. And of course, there are some serious situations when a specialist help is needed, and there's nothing wrong with it. At some point of my life, I took some therapy sessions, which helped me a lot. And it was more than 6 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, but I still remember one thing that my therapist told me when I asked them, how much dirt do I have to shovel to finally feel that sunshine inside? And of course I didn't use the word dirt, but I used a less bookish and less polite term for that. And my therapist said that sometimes the dirt is never ending. And it was kind of a revelation for me. And since then, I'm trying to remember that being sad for more than 2 days in a row makes it more and more difficult to feel the joy. The darkness inside that doesn't let light in can get thinner and thinner, and it all depends on us. If we only focus on the dirt, we won't notice the sun. You are your own best parent, and to realize the simple truth, I had to undergo the most painful experience. I have never met anyone who wasn't traumatized by their parents, intentionally or unintentionally. We all get traumatized, and we traumatize others, our parents, our children, our partners, our friends, etc. It's inevitable, but this is how we grow and how we overcome that pain of failed expectations, of not getting the love that we think that we deserve. And we all deserve love and being loved, and just all of us. And the beautiful thing is that we can always begin from ourselves, from self-love and self-care and self-parenting, so to say. I've learned my lesson how not to cling to other people trying to find a mother or a father figure in anyone who fits. And that type of mindset always resulted in having relationships that were too fragile and painful. And I no longer want that. Too many bad and atrocious things happen all over the world every second, and if we are not trying to make it at least a little bit better for someone, well, so you know what I mean. But of course it's not a magic pill, and sometimes there are situations, some unimaginable cases when kindness seems impossible, kindness to someone. But I always try to keep in mind a scene from some Hollywood action movie, which name I don't even remember. And there was one character talking about physical torturing of another person in order to get some important information from them. And that character said, it's not about who they are, but it's all about who we are. So, and the life and the world is always about who we are and how kind we can be. Remember that you are mortal, and sometimes suddenly mortal, according to Mikhail Bulgakov. I know it's pretty dark, but it's so important to remember, because now more and more people tend to live as if they will never die, not appreciating the moment, people, the air, the water, the chirping of birds, I don't know, everything. We think that it will last forever, but it won't. With the emerging practices of transhumanism, the cult of youth and consumerism, we lost that sense of fragility of existence. Death is no longer a topic that is welcome in any sort of public discussion nowadays. I'm still reading Eric Fromm's book To Have or To Be, where he talks a lot about consumerism and the mode of having as the main tool that people use to destroy the idea of mortality. I will talk about it in detail in my book review that I'm hoping to release pretty soon. And I think about death a lot, and it scares the crap out of me, but I know that I have to face this fear in order to transform it and to enjoy my life to the full. There's no one given answer to everything and for everyone. The truth can be very simple, but so hard to find amidst those tons of information that we get buried under every given day. You might have heard of the term information fatigue syndrome. The term was coined by David Lewis, PhD and a British psychologist. Lewis makes the following analogy. If you're thirsty, it's sensible to stand under a faucet, not the Niagara Falls. According to him, the avalanche of information results in paralysis of analysis. We get deprived of analytical thinking and we get manipulated. For example, for political reasons, mass media uses the following techniques. Intentional juxtaposition of facts that lead to the desired conclusion. Identifying certain information as a classified while it's not classified, and this mentioning automatically makes that type of information more important for the audience. Then there is neuro-linguistic programming, excessive use of information noise, and absolutely meaningless facts. It all makes us consume a lot of information but never digest it properly. These kinds of techniques can be seen everywhere now, and we need to make information our own. We need to analyze it to be more selective. It's a natural process of learning and mastering our minds, because after all, having a lot of knowledge does not necessarily mean being knowledgeable. I don't mean to ruin your day, but most plans never come to life. Well, at least it was like that for me. Maybe you have a completely different situation, so please feel free to share. So after having a pretty heap of beautifully ruined plans, I figured out that having a plan B does not necessarily diminish plan A, but brings me a lot of mental comfort. And my plan B always comes from me asking myself, so if it doesn't work, what will I do? What will happen? I've spent the last 5 or 6 years having all sorts of plans. I was imagining that I would live in another country, or I would have a completely different life here, that I would travel and so on. But all sorts of plans that got smashed under the wheels of life. I survived mentally, mostly thanks to having a plan B in my mind. And almost always that plan B was super simple and sounded like I will stay where I am now and I would make most of everything that I have. But sometimes I would picture something absolutely adventurous and daring as a plan B, and it was super fun. We can never predict our future like in full detail, even if we are, I don't know, like astrology specialists or fortune tellers. And the only thing that we can do to make ourselves less anxious about the future, not the only thing, but one of the things that we can do, is just to have a plan B, even if it's an imaginary and unrealistic and completely crazy. It still helps. Yes, good old intuition, or heart magnet, or gut feeling. It has so many names that deep inside knowing of what is right and what is wrong for you. It's so mind-blowing to me that over the past years we've chosen to listen to other people's opinions but not ourselves. And I know it can sound like against any logics and I don't know, like scientific reason, but still. And let me quote Albert Einstein, who said, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift." We just need less distortion and less information fog in our life to make our way through it. I know that this journey can be really challenging because it seems like everyone has to voice their opinions on our life choices, but I invite you to trust your gut feeling because it never lies. So these were my main guiding principles in life so far, and feel free to share your opinion in the comment section and maybe tell me about your insights, or maybe suggest what we can discuss further on in more detail. And thank you so much for watching this post-birthday chat till the end, my friends. You stay safe and kind and enjoy your lovely day. And I will see you soon. Пока-пока.